Welcome to Qt Widgets and more. In today's episode, I'm going to start something brand new. I'm going to start a mini-series on other people's IDE. I'm using Qt Creator. I'm sure you have noticed by now, but there are other IDEs out there. And don't worry, I'm not going to talk about Emacs or VI, but real IDEs. Oh, I got a storm coming up here already. So sorry, all VI and Emacs IDE users. Anyway, on the show today, I have Alexander Busse. Welcome.
Hello, so glad to be here. Nice to see you.
Alex, did you notice that I have a fancy shirt on today?
Looks fancy-ish to me, at least, yeah.
It's not the regular blue, boring one. But you know why I thought today would be a good day to bring something different?
No, what's up? What's up, Jesper?
Of course, this recording is Qt Widgets and More, episode number, wait for it, 100!
Ooh, 100 already. Man, you've been churning out quite a number of episodes there. That's an impressive thing.
We have been talking about a lot of different things on this show here, and I'm glad to have you with me today, because today we're going to talk about the IDE called CLion. So why don't you start out telling me just a wee little bit about what is CLion, where does it come from?
Well, CLion is an IDE produced by JetBrains. JetBrains, I think, have been known for their .NET and their Visual Studio plugins, which work really, really nice with like ReSharper, etc. But they also build up their quite impressive range of IDEs that cover everything from .NET and Java. It's a Kotlin, so Java-based IDE, but also Python and Ruby, and of course C++. And I think it offers a great C++ experience right off the box. Cool.
And just before we get a lawsuit here, who are you working for? For JetBrains?
Well, not officially, no. I'm working for QTopia.
You're on my payroll, so I know you work for us. So I'm not talking to people from the original organization, simply from some of their users. And today, Alex is a Canadian that is using CLion. So what I'll try and do these episodes here is just ask them to show me their top N, and hopefully N isn't going to be like 200 features they like of this. So Alex, show me something you like, and maybe you can just upfront tell me what is the top N going to be for you.
Well, for you, I can definitely boil it down to 3 or 4 points. You can see I have CLion started here. This is their new interface, which is a little bit decluttered and a little friendly. And we have a nice view of an MD file. But Markdown is not what we came here for. So I will show you my favorite feature, and that is inline annotations. Consider, for example, this function here, which takes a couple of arguments. And through these amazing annotations, you can see, oh, this is the address that I'm parsing, and the required response. Okay, maybe we can guess, okay, this is also a checker. This will go to the address and check that we do get the required response, and we can read that only that well through these annotations. And we have another one over here, which is a different kind. You see, we have an auto, and it tells us what's coming back to us. And there's many different parts where you can see these features and actions. Like here, it tells us that the broker is going to be passed by reference, so we know, okay, the run-in thread will probably do something with it, so be careful. And in here we have a lot of parameters, and it just tells us which of the strings that I pass has which kind of functionality, and I find it super useful.
So I like the stuff your cursor is right on now, the .content type and so on. That's almost like C++ 17's ability of actually naming the variables in the struct. And Bjarne, I'm sure you're watching this. Can you please make it possible for me to have them in different order? Oh, well, that's for another episode, I'm sure. If you go back just a bit on the on the previous example you had there. So the address colon, that's the name that I see if I actually looked at the variable there in the setup, right? So the address is the name in make get
the name of the argument, exactly. So name your arguments well, and you will get more useful inline annotations.
And I can definitely see the value in this. I mean, in the past in this show, I had the strong type def. I believe it was called the ability of taking a string and a Q string and making that into a specific type, so that a city and a country were different types. But I mean, this definitely helped when it says city : Denmark. Of course, everybody knows that Denmark is the capital of Sweden. But besides that, I can definitely see the value in that. Okay, cool. That was number one. So number two.
Number two is, I also came from the old times, and what I really appreciate is to not go through all these menus and look for the function that I want to run right now. So instead, we have the everything runner. Now I have it opened with actions mode. So I'm looking for an action. So maybe I just want to have a build. So I just open this and I say build, and I see all these actions that include build, and I just want to build my project. So I enter here and everything happens. And of course, another thing that we frequently use is looking up classes, and this works very well and very fast, given all classes with a name, or even all symbols with a name, making it very easy to navigate through the code by typing text, which I find way faster and more efficient, because I can just put in what I want and it will give me what I want, what I'm looking for.
Okay, that's cool. Next.
And JetBrains is known for its resharper projects, and this also comes in handy in this one, where we have just proper good refactoring. Let's take a very simple example, because I want to make it easily understandable. So I'm looking for the address entry, and I have two. So I'm using code navigation here. And now let's say I have address entries and I have different entries, and I want to make all of them able to say, are they actually the current ones? So I want this variable to draw it out into an upper class. So I can just right click and use one of the many refactoring options that I have. But today I'm just going to show you to pull members up.
Okay.
So I'll pull them up into a new superclass, which is current entries. And I could select more, but I just want the current. It's giving me a preview of what is gonna be happening. I can see here all the changes that are going to everything that is going to be affected. Here. These are all the places where we have them, and now I do the refactor. And CLion will automatically go through anything, check if this is used anywhere, and create a new superclass when it's ready.
Nice. That's one of those things. I remember reading the book on refactoring like 20 years ago, and like, this is going to be the future. It's going to be so cool. And the Java people, they all got it, but we're still stuck there with a preprocessor that will screw us over anytime we get a chance. And refactoring tools is still somewhat a nirvana for us. That one day we'll get there, but it seems like they at least got a bit further on than Qt Creator. So
they did get on a while.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, it's never going to be perfect, and you can see here as well. It does not know where in the code it belongs, because this is a class that is in tests, and they have a couple, so this is very ambiguous. but still obviously a nice option here. And now I can define myself on which of my targets inside the code I would want to do that. And I, as a developer, of course, know that this belongs to the Majordomo workers or the Majordomo. Just add it here, and it will also take care of the CMake part of the code.
And how is CLion and CMake? Are they enemies like Qt Creator, at least up until Qt Creator 11, that hopefully will have very good support for CMake, or is it a good friendship?
Hopefully. Well, it's basing its project on CMake, so they're like they're not just friends, so they're like a proper couple.
They are friends with benefits. No, let's not go further down that thought. Okay, so that's cool. One more you want to show before?
One more that I could show you is the Git integration. I know there's the Git command line works very, very well, but doing rebases, doing more complicated stuff, checking histories, it's still nicer when you just have a nice view where you can say, oh, this entry here, I want to have this one, and I would also need this.
So that's your interactive adding stuff.
Now I'm doing a commit where I'm putting all the changes that I did for renaming the class. I check everything. So now this is a change that is not related. I check everywhere. Yes, I want that one, and say here, pull out current, and I do a commit, and everything's committed. But of course, this is the easy part. This is I forgot one. I would just also commit this one very fast, and I have another change here. And maybe let's just change this number as well, and do another commit where I change the nested maps. This is all pretty boring, so let's do our favorite interactive rebase on our main branch.
Mm-hmm.
It's working here, so we have a lot of commits happening since our main.
Okay.
And this one really didn't work out very well. Let's drop this one. Let's drop this one. And to start a rebase. Checking everything. And I think we got a working rebase here. Let's check the branches out. Let me go to rebase on main. See how that works. Got the nested maps. Rebase. Oh no, everything works without a conflict. It's so boring. How do I not have a conflict?
Anyway, that is the demo effect that we have there. So when somebody meets you over a beer one day, they can find you in Berlin, then I'm sure you will show them all the conflict resolution and handling in here. But Alex,
yes,
this is Qt Widgets and More. That's the name of the show you're on here. So an obvious question is, how does CLion and Qt Widgets go together? Is that like in the good old days, at least what I remember of Visual Studio, where you needed to install plugins and you needed to rearrange everything and in your source layout and whatnot, or is it just out of the box?
CLion shines with its out-of-the-box experience, so most of the things that we want will work out of the box. let me show you how easy I can set up a new Qt Widgets project. I don't have one here. Great, right? And I will do a new window for that. And let it do its magic. See what the nice window effects that we have here. So we have CMake ready to go, and a small application ready to go. So let's just build this and see if it's able to write proper CMake, which it should be. And now let's try to run this. Okay, so here we have our Qt Widgets application.
And of course, that is the easy part. How about the designer integration? That's where Qt Creator at least shines very well, for a reason, because it's created by the same people. But how does that work?
To get that, we of course need a class which would need that. So to our project, let's add a new class. File. We want a Qt UI class, which is our interface. We add it to our target, our main target here. So yeah, I can see interface, and it's running with the interface UI. And now recently we are having a bug where running this directly does not work. You can put a shortcut on here to run it after all. Now it works. That's fantastic. It's the show effect can also work in the other direction. Isn't that great?
So you just need me to sit here and watch your screen, then everything works for you.
Yes, please. Only next time it doesn't work, I will just give you a call. So this is a kind of this is a level of integration we get. We don't have a fancy window inside here, but we can work very well with the code. We can easily get everything in there, and then we can click together our applications from here.
Okay, so the standalone Qt designers should not be killed off entirely yet.
Please don't.
Okay, a final question for you here.
Yes.
Can I see your fingers?
Fingers?
Yeah,
all 10 of them?
Do they still work? And just imagine that I one day dropped by your office and I stole the battery to your mouse. Would you be completely in denial and not be able to write a single line of code? Or how keyboard friendly is CLion?
Well, you can throw away my mouse if you want to. Would be nicer without, but it works very well with mouse. I also have Emacs mode inside here because I'm an ex-Emacs user, and I'm very glad to press Alt and X and have my options, and I can jump around in the different tool views and enable and disable them and go everywhere and launch the debugging from the keyboard and put things down again, move between the windows, and I will not be stuck without my mouse. So let's hope that you don't never come here, but I will be prepared for you always.
and I'm actually an ex-Emacs user too. You mean like not using it anymore, an ex-Emacs user?
Yes, not the ex-Emacs user.
I even wrote a book on Emacs 25 years ago. So that's my claim to fame. Besides Qt Widgets and more, of course. Thank you very much, Alex. That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for having me. And another time, impressive 100 episodes. And thanks for having me here.
Thank you. And thank you for watching Qt Widgets and more. And there will be more episodes. I've talked to my co-workers, and I have a Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code coming up at least, so that we have the 4 Qt Creator, CLion, and the 2 Visual Studios covered. If you have a challenge in some IDE that you actually think is worthwhile looking at, let me know, and maybe I can find a co-worker using that one. Until next time, have a great time.